Kavanaugh's hearing takes over the nation, Oklahoma's react to the Supreme Court scandal, and marijuana shows its medical purposes. This is OU Nightly.
My greatest fears have been realized, and the reality has been far worse than what I expected.
Emotions are running high today on Capitol Hill as both sides express concerns about the Kavanaugh nomination. Hello, thanks for joining us at OU Nightly. I'm Sydney Forsee.
And I'm Madeline Roberts. A historic day. Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee heard testimony from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh about allegations of sexual assault. She says Kavanaugh assaulted her at a party when they were in high school in 1988. Kavanaugh has been accused of sexual misconduct by 2 other women, calling his nomination for the High Court into question.
A very emotional day for all involved. OU Nightly's Storme Jones is in Washington, D.C. He joins us live now from outside the Capitol. Storme?
It is 5:30 here in Washington, and the rain has tamped down some outdoor protests, but it has not stopped the drama within the Senate Judiciary Committee in the Capitol right behind me. Right now, Judge Brett Kavanaugh still testifying before the committee. Earlier in the day, Christine Blasey Ford, the first woman of now 3 to place accusations against Judge Kavanaugh. Now, protesters around the Capitol complex today, emotions were heated. Now, we caught up with Arizona Senator Jeff Flake today, a key undecided vote as protesters marched across the Capitol complex.
I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge. I intend no ill will to Dr. Ford and her family.
Senator up there winning.
The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers, and little Liza, all of 10 years old,
and you heard there Judge Kavanaugh testifying. The line of questioning for Christine Blasey Ford, very different between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans had that career prosecutor asking her questions, while the Democrats, many of them began their questioning by thanking her for being here today, saying it was very brave of her to appear before the committee. Now, the longest serving Democrat on the committee, Patrick Leahy, also said today that Anita Hill, an OU professor at the time, who had similar accusations against Supreme Court nominee, now Justice Clarence Thomas, Leahy said the committee failed her and that he hopes the committee does not do the same to Christine Blasey Ford and the now 3 other women. We also checked in with Senators Inhofe and Langford from Oklahoma. Guys, they say they are not commenting while the hearing is ongoing. In Washington, D.C., Storme Jones, OU Nightly.
Gaylord reporters will continue covering the hearing from Washington. Thanks, Storme.
And here on the campus of OU, students are tuning in to the Kavanaugh testimony. OU Nightly's Abby Green interviews students on who watched the hearing unfold.
The student union turned their sets to the news today as Ford began her testimony against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The hearing has sparked emotion across the country. Several students at OU shared their reaction to this historic event.
I thought he was unqualified just because, he never put public interest in one of his opinions first ever, but political opinion.
The reason more and more women are stepping out now is because they feel like they have this community. But this whole thing isn't just been an issue for the past couple of years. This has been going on to women for so long. And so many of these prominent people nowadays are stepping forward, they're afraid to step forward.
I believe that it is hard, to see that someone very important who's politically involved has done, such a thing.
On television screens across America and here in Norman, history unfolded and opinions formed. Abby Green, OU Nightly.
Experts say men and women who are survivors of sexual assault may have found today's proceedings and tomorrow's vote upsetting, as it brings back memories of an attack. They advise staying off social media and seeking the help of a counselor if needed.
Mariah Conduff joins us in the News Center with more on President Donald Trump's opinion on Judge Brett Kavanaugh after recent assault allegations. Mariah?
Madeline, President Donald Trump's support for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh has not ceased. In fact, Brett Kavanaugh defended Kavanaugh at a news conference Wednesday.
And they've destroyed a man's reputation, and they want to destroy it even more. And I think people are going to see that in the midterms. What they've done to this family, what they've done to these children, these beautiful children of his, and what they've done to his wife.
Christine Bosley Fort testified against Kavanaugh earlier today. A third woman has come forward against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Julie Swetnick accuses Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge of joining with other boys to rape disoriented girls while at parties in high school. According to CNN, Swetnick also claims to have been victim to their gang rape in 1982. Swetnick's attorney, Michael Avenatti, says she is demanding the opportunity to testify in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. The 55-year-old Washington resident says she wants America to have the facts and judge for themselves. And despite the multiple sexual assault allegations against Judge Kavanaugh, many women are rallying in support of the Supreme Court nominee.
My last sign for all those members of Congress. If you stand strong, we will stand with you. Stand firm. We've got your back.
The I Stand With Brett rally is led by the conservatives group Concerned Women of America. And Sydney and Madeline, after 158 years, the Indian Supreme Court throws out the adultery law, saying it discriminates against women.
Thank you, Mariah. Sydney, it's been a little bit chilly outside recently.
Yes, I can agree with that, Madeline. Hopefully Jenna Warner can tell us what to expect the rest of this week. Jenna?
Well, right now, guys, we're not seeing much in the way of cloud cover across Oklahoma. A few clouds out and about around southeastern Oklahoma, but across the state, it is very fall-like. And across the region, 73 here in Norman, 78 in Dallas, 78 in Lubbock. So it's feeling really nice across the region right now. But I'll have all that and more coming up, as well as is there a cold front ahead. The Oklahoma wind will be returning, and your game day forecast. So stay with us for all the details. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jenna. And still ahead on OU Nightly, your pet store favorites may not be as clean as you think.
Plus, we'll tell you about what you might not know about CBD. Straight ahead on OU Nightly.
Across Oklahoma, CBD stores and products are popping up. OU Nightly's Kyle Payne spoke with representatives about the unknown benefits of CBD.
It's like a nice breath of fresh air after a long, stressful day.
Cannabis oil, or CBD, helps people deal with different physical ailments every day. It didn't take long for Jake Shilcoat, the vice president of CBD Plus, to see benefits firsthand.
First, when I heard about it, I was like, man, that's just potheads justifying why they smoke so much pot. There's no way it does. I had a bad car wreck in October, and man, it blew me away. I was like, it got me off of opioids the second that I started taking it.
Unlike THC, CBD is a non-hallucinogenic. Whether it's pain, anxiety, or insomnia, CBD products are designed to help solve those issues in a healthy way. David Hopwood, the founder of Natural Native, dealt with some of the same issues and now focuses on educating Oklahomans on what the product can do for them.
And CBD is the strongest natural anti-inflammatory you can get. And since inflammation is what causes 90% of the body's ailments, if you can reduce inflammation, you can reduce the pain.
The rise of CBD in Oklahoma happened fast, especially after the passing of medical marijuana in the state. Both stores sell a wide range of products from gummies to coffee and even lip balm, all to provide whatever the customer needs.
After the CBD boom across the state, the question remains, what's next for these locations? How do they plan on dealing with the distribution of medical marijuana?
At the end of the day, our stores are still going to be the same. Our message is still going to be a very much a clinical and well thought out, educated approach to helping people through cannabis.
To follow the chain of what our customers ask for, we will have at some point some percentage of THC in our products. Not sure if it's going to be under this brand or not.
For now, CBD Plus and Natural Native continue to perfect their products and offer all Oklahomans a chance to benefit from CBD. Kyle Payne, OU Nightly.
CBD Plus and Natural Native both have more information about their products on their websites.
A Vietnam veteran purchased a plant that made history in Oklahoma. Tori King has the latest on this week's Health Beat. Tori?
The first legal Oklahoma medical marijuana plant just sold yesterday. State Question 788 passed earlier this year, but potential growers have been jumping through hoops to make this day possible. Because all plants must be grown in Oklahoma and seeds have to come from Oklahoma, growers are in a catch-22. But John Frazier, a Vietnam veteran that struggles with PTSD and other illnesses, was the man who purchased the legal seedling. Frazier bought the plant from a dispensary in Fairfax, Oklahoma. Legislators will continue to meet, but for now, Frazier's just happy that this process is beginning to take shape. And 30,000 fitness trackers are being voluntarily recalled due to the risk of burns. These Bluetooth trackers, created by Provada Health, were given out at a promotional event earlier this year. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission reported receiving complaints of this device overheating while charging. 3 users reported suffering burns to their wrists. Provada Health urges users to stop wearing these devices and has offered to replace them for free. And they're cute, they're cuddly, but they might be causing you to get sick. I'm talking about pet store puppies. A nationwide outbreak has caused more than 100 people across 18 states to become ill and at least 26 to become hospitalized. The Centers for Disease Control has named the culprit for these outbreaks as Campylobacter bacteria, which can live in the digestive systems of animals. This bacteria causes diarrhea, stomach pains, fever, and is resistant to most antibiotics. The CDC says recovery time is typically 5 days. And I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't scare me away from adopting a puppy. I would still pick one up.
Well, Tori, I guess man's best friend is not as innocent and cute as they seem to be, right?
Right.
Well, it's not their fault. You just have to remember to wash your hands after you
Right,
play with
that's
them.
exactly what the CDC recommends, washing your hands.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you,
Tori.
Tori.
Of course.
Still to come on OU Nightly, see how Legos saved a life.
And Jenna has another look at today's weather.
That's right. It's a beautiful fall day right now. I'll have all the forecast details coming up next. Welcome back to OU Nightly, guys. It's a beautiful fall day here in Norman. 72 degrees with a south wind of 7 miles per hour hitting us right now. So 24 hours earlier, we were actually 13 degrees cooler than we are right now. So thankfully, we have warmed up. If you have any evening plans tonight, expect a pleasant evening ahead. Brisk temperatures 63, 8 o'clock, 60 by midnight. Few clouds rolling in and that south wind still hitting us. Not too blustery at all. South 5 to 7 miles per hour. When it's all said and done tonight, Norman will see a low 57 degrees, 59 in OKC, and 56 in Enid. So it'll be a brisk night, but tomorrow we will warm up to a high of 80 here in Norman, 81 in OKC, so a fairly warm day across the state and normal for this time of year. But that Oklahoma wind will be returning tomorrow as it'll be blustery around 9 a.m. when you walk out the door tomorrow, 20 miles per hour. That wind will be staying with us through the day tomorrow, but it will be calming down just a little bit as we head through the day, and it will be sticking with us though. So that cold front that I was talking about earlier, it will be coming in tomorrow evening, stalling out in central Oklahoma, and it won't be affecting us here in Norman, thankfully, so your Friday night plans don't have to go through any cold front effects. Your game day forecast as we kick off 2:30 against the Baylor Bears on Saturday will be in the upper 70s at kickoff, and we do have a 20% chance of rain as the game rolls in, so we should be dry, but be prepared just in case. Rounding out the next 2 days ahead, we do have some rain chances coming in. Other than that, our 7-day forecast is looking great because we do have some warm up along the way, but it's going to be super windy this week as we head into next week. As you can see, winds hitting southwest 12 to 16 miles per hour there on Monday. So crazy winds up ahead. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not too crazy about this Oklahoma wind.
Me either, Jenna, but I'm glad this fall weather is starting to move in. Finally, it's not so hot anymore.
We're getting to that spot in the year when it's kind of warm in the middle of the day, but in the morning it's cold, so it makes it hard to dress. So get a jacket for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thanks.
And Cal Day joins us now as the Sooners prepare for their conference home opener. Cal?
Hey, that's right. The Sooners prepare for an air raid attack, but first it's time for Thursday night football. Stick around. Sports is on the other side. Welcome back. Last week, the Oklahoma defense struggled to stop Army's offensive ground attack, surrendering nearly 350 yards. This week, the Sooners will try and slow down the air attack from Baylor as the Bears storm into Norman this Saturday.
They have one of the best receiving corps in the country. I think the offensive line's improved. You know, they're kind of making the jump. You know, at least what you see on film here through a few games, they're making the jump that you would expect them to make.
Over to McCaslin Fieldhouse, where the Sooners fell to the Kansas Jayhawks in a hard-fought matchup Wednesday night. However, it was a historic night for senior Elisa Enneking as she recorded her 1,000th career kill, becoming only the 14th Sooner to do so. The Sooners head to Waco to take on Baylor on Friday. And Brooke Murski joins us now as things are heating up in the NL wildcard race. Brooke.
Are you ready to get confused? The NL playoff picture is anything but clear as these teams head into the last few regular season games. I'll explain. In the Central, the Cubs have a half-game lead over the Brewers right now, but they play the Pirates tonight, which could either put them a full game ahead of the Brewers or tie the two teams up. Either way, the Cubs have their final 3-game series against the Cardinals this weekend, which we will get into later, and the Brewers will host the Tigers. In the West, the Dodgers are a half game away from catching up to the Rockies. Colorado is playing Philly right now, but they still have their final 3 against the Nationals this weekend. On the other hand, the Dodgers face the Giants tomorrow through Sunday at home. And that all leads us to this page right here. 2 of these 5 teams will play in the wild card game. The St. Louis Cardinals are only 1 game behind the Dodgers, and with 1 more series for each of these teams, anything can happen. And Cal, the American League is not nearly as complicated. All 3 divisions have been clinched and the wildcard teams are set.
All right, thank you, Brooke. Week 4 of the NFL season kicks off tonight as the Los Angeles Rams host the Minnesota Vikings in a massive NFC showdown. Now, last time out, the Vikings dominated en route to a 17-point win. This time around, the Vikings are coming off a shocking home blowout loss to the Bills in a game where quarterback Kirk Cousins struggled to get going. It's quite the opposite for the Rams. They're off to a dominant 3-0 start, including a win over the Chargers last week. Kickoff is set for 7:20. And for the casual NBA fans who stick around just to see how it's going to end, this one's for you. Today, the league announced it will unveil a package where fans can purchase the 4th quarter of out-of-market games for less than $2. The plan will be ready to go for the start of the season next month. And New Orleans Saints star Alvin Kamara should really just stick to football. At a concert in New Orleans this week, Kamara joined Drake on stage to shoot a half-court shot in the home of the Pelicans. And as you can see, this one sails way over the basket regardless of the bad shot. However, fans in the stands still cheered for Kamara. So that obviously, Alvin Kamara, really good asset for your fantasy football team, maybe not for your fantasy basketball team.
Probably not. Thanks, Cal.
Thank you.
Still to come on OU Nightly, we'll have another look at the 5-day forecast.
And how do Legos and turtles go together? We'll tell you straight ahead.
I'm Emily Dunford at the OU Nightly Update Desk with the latest on the GOP shakeup. Today, Republican Representative Chris Kennedy of Oklahoma City said he took part in a plan to take down several members of his own caucus. When a dozen Republican incumbents were not reelected to this year's primary elections, upset educators were to blame for the takedown. Kennedy said he took action after GOP leaders threatened to roll back a GOP-backed tax hike. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Emily. And Legos may seem just like a child's toy or something annoying that you may step on.
That's true, but workers at a Maryland zoo showed that they can be so much more than that. They found a turtle that looked to be in pain, was probably hit by a car. Its shell was in pieces, and after putting it back together, they still needed something to keep him off the ground.
After trying many things, the only thing that worked were Legos. The zoo workers crafted him a wheelchair of sorts, and now he's as good as new. And Jenna, you have our weather fact of the day, correct?
That's right. So right now we are looking at wet conditions in September. So we've actually received 61% more rainfall than we have in the average month of September. So it's been a wet September for us here in Oklahoma.
Thanks, Jenna.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
We leave you tonight with a video shot by OU journalism student Storme Jones outside the United States Capitol in Washington today after Senator Jeff Flake headed inside. OU Nightly will continue to follow this story. Good night.
Senator Flake, you have been one of the most outspoken